In case y'all don't know who this skank is, this is none other than Abigail Disney. The name practically speaks for itself. I don't have to go into a whole diatribe about it. I think I've actually done a video about her a few months ago, and it was pertaining to something else about it. And I think it was actually low-key kind of giving her praise for what she said. But after this little stunt that she pulled, fuck her. I don't care if her last name is Disney. Fuck her. Completely and wholeheartedly. So, in case y'all don't know what Abigail Disney did, she's doing the same song and dance that pretty much every other liberal left palm-colored woman has been doing since the announcement of Kobe Bryant's death a few days ago. Basically bringing up something in 2003 and saying that he's a rapist, even though he was cleared of all the charges, and it was put out there that the woman did indeed lie about her rape encounter with Kobe Bryant. But they keep putting it out there that he raped this woman, even though clearly there was no rape. As a matter of fact, if anything sexual did happen, it was consensual. The only thing Kobe Bryant said he admitted to wrong, as far as wrongdoing, is cheating on his wife. That's all he said, and that's pretty much all that happened. But you have people like Evan Races Wood and all these other palm-colored feminazis and people like Abigail Disney who claim to be these liberal, progressive white women. And we keep telling people that they are just as bad, if not worse, than their men. Don't be so engaging just because they're not conservative or they're not Republicans or, lean to the right. The liberal ones are just as bad because they are what you call your covert racists. They're not out in your face, but they kind of slide it in. And Abigail Disney is no different. And see, she's an heiress. She's an heiress to a conglomerate. Disney, as you know, when I talk about Disney, I'm referencing the mouse. I remember I did a video listing all the stuff that Disney owned, but I stopped after I got the Property 50 because it was tiring. It was so much to read. It was a lot of properties that they own. So trust and believe the backlash she's getting from this is only going to be verbal. She's not really going to hurt from this financially because, like I said, she's the heiress to Disney. And it's like, why not just sit down somewhere, be quiet, and enjoy your billions? Because, like, you really don't have to do anything. Your life has been set. But nope. It shows you right there that even if you are an heiress to a conglomerate company, have billions of dollars, you're still going to run your mouth, even about a deceased black man who was successful. In many cases, if you look at it, Kobe Bryant in Abigail Disney's eyes will be seen as a peasant, even though he had a massive net worth himself. Of course, it wasn't nothing like hers, but I can honestly say at least he worked for his. She inherited hers just because she won the genetic lottery. She was the sperm that made it to the egg. That's pretty much all I can say. But Abigail Disney pretty much came out and said something pertaining to this, and it came from a place of sounding very uppity, and it doesn't surprise me coming from her because of what her name is, Disney. She basically had put out a tweet or some kind of a post that said Kobe Bryant was a rapist, deal with it. Excuse me? Kobe Bryant was cleared of all those charges that was against him or those accusations. He did not rape that woman. As a matter of fact, today I was working a hockey game, and they had a tribute for Kobe Bryant and his daughter, where they did a 8-second moment of silence for them. Everybody in the arena was quiet. Then right at the last second, you had some palm-colored male yell out, "Kobe Bryant was a rapist." Now, these are the same people that will get upset if you move or even so much as sneeze during the national anthem They got so mad at Colin Kaepernick because he had the nerve to take a knee and say he was disrespecting the troops and everything like that, even though he told them flat out since day one why he was doing it. But they're doing a tribute for someone and their child and other people who died horrifically in a helicopter crash. And this person blurted out in an arena filled with over 16,000 people while everyone was being quiet, Kobe Bryant was a rapist. And it was so loud, everyone on all levels could hear this person, even without a microphone. Yes, it was a palm-colored male who did that. And like I could hear them out of my left ear because it was coming from that direction when it happened. But they are the same ones that get mad about a damn flag or rag that wasn't even made in the establishment in which it's representing. It was made in China, the place that America is in debt to. Make it make sense. Always want to walk around here claiming they're so patriotic when they're really patriotic. Send them their draft papers and watch how fast they bitch up like a clam going into its shell. Anyway, let me get into this. Abigail Disney spoke publicly about the ongoing conversation surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers' great Kobe Bryant's legacy after the worldwide basketball star and his daughter Gianna was among 9 killed in a devastating helicopter accident on Sunday. Disney's tweet on Wednesday follows actress Evan Racist Wood's remarks, who wrote in a since deleted tweet that although Bryant is heralded as a sports icon, he was also a rapist. Wood was met with intense backlash for her stance, with so many on social media arguing that the Westworld actress' comments were made too soon and were in bad taste. And by the way, Evan Racist Wood ended up turning off the comments because she knew she couldn't handle the backlash. Now Disney is being taken to task for her remarks, in which she acknowledged in her tweet on Wednesday that she waited to speak on Bryant's death because she wanted time to pass before issuing her decree. Well, shoot, with the way that everybody else has been going at him, even on the day of his death, she might as well have put out this tweet. It's not like she said anything good. In responding to a Washington Post op-ed remembering Bryant's life, including a 2003 incident outlined in a 2016 article from the Daily Beast, in which a 19-year-old woman accused Bryant of choking and sexually assaulting her in a Colorado hotel room, the Emmy-winning documentary filmmaker echoed the sentiment. I haven't said anything about Kobe Bryant so far because I felt some time needed to pass before weighing in. So wait a minute. Some time. Mind you, Kobe Bryant and his daughter and those other individuals on that helicopter died on Sunday. She put this out here maybe 2 or 3 days later, and she's saying this was some time. Excuse me? Some time would be months later, maybe a year later, not a few days later. But I guess. But yes, it's time for the sledgehammer to come out. The man was a rapist, deal with this, she wrote before many Bryant fans responded to her statement in fury. And the thing is, I'm going to be quite honest. Not everybody who wrote or probably came at her were fans of Kobe Bryant. I can honestly say that I can believe that not all of them were fans of Kobe Bryant, but they hate what's going on under the circumstances. The man wasn't even put on trial. He wasn't convicted of anything. There was nothing there to convict him of. If anything, the guilty party is that woman who accused him of rape. But we know how that goes. Each of us is more than our worst deeds and less than our best. People aren't easily divided into good and bad. I won't excuse or defend what KB may have done that night, but if you aren't moved by the hundreds of stories of his generosity and kindness, you aren't paying attention, one person tweeted. This is unfair and not okay. Feel how you would feel about him, but his wife lost her husband, his daughters lost their father. If you must go down this road, educate yourself fully on that situation first. You just may feel a bit differently, wrote another user. Damn, some people have no respect for the dead. Kobe literally lost his life along with his daughter a few days ago. It's national news when a black athlete makes a mistake, but when Brock Turner raped an unconscious woman behind a dumpster and gets a 6-month sentence and served 3, said another poster. Meanwhile, an additional Twitter user simply asked Disney point blank, "Serious question for you. Can people redeem themselves, reform, or are we forever to be judged by our past actions?" Disney, whose grandfather Roy O. Disney co-founded the Walt Disney Company, did not respond to the question posed to her by the Twitter user. However, despite her stance, Disney's response was also met with praise by some who were in agreement. "Thank you. I've been wondering about the deafening silence on this," one tweet read. "Thank you. While this is tragic for all the passengers on board and his family, it's hard to hear him being celebrated as a hero when he's a rapist," another Bryant detractor added. And one social media commenter said this to Disney: "I can see where he tried to mend his ways after that episode in his life, but you also cannot write his obituary without mentioning this episode either." Now, do you see what these people are saying right here? Listen to what that person said. You cannot write his obituary without leaving this part out. Well, I'm glad that they aren't in charge of that, or in charge of what will go on to his tombstone when he gets buried, or, I don't know how they're going to do that particular ceremony or how that's going to be handled. But these people actually believe that he raped this woman, even though it was proven he didn't do. See, but this goes back to when black men are on trial, even if they're not on trial, they're still guilty in many people's eyes because they want them to be guilty. And the thing is, none of them are taking into account how his wife is dealing with this right now, or how his daughters are feeling about this. I keep telling you, that liberal left historical white bitch is one of the worst creatures on the planet. And so are her co-colonizing cohorts. That goes for any race of men and women, and anyone else who shares her rather radicalized and wicked ideologies. Now, like I told you, women who look like her and have the same thought process as her have been going at it all week with this Kobe Bryant was a rapist standpoint. All week. Since he died. Since the day he died. Within an hour, I started to see tweets from people talking about this alleged rape that supposedly happened that did not happen. They are doing the same thing to him that they did with Nate Parker. But the only difference is Nate Parker is alive. And even then, he couldn't really defend himself the way he wanted to because everyone came hammering down on him. What makes this worse is that Kobe Bryant is dead. And it's crazy because no one was talking about this rape, this alleged rape, while he was alive all these years later. Even when he won his Oscar, they kind of brought it up a little bit, but it didn't make any traction. But now that he's dead, now they want to bring it all back up to the surface. And it's like, one thing that is actually helping this not work is the fact that, like Harvey has said in a lot of his videos, is that you have people from all ethnic backgrounds coming at the people who are saying things like this, whether they're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Arab, Native American, whoever, because Kobe Bryant was seen as an icon, not just by the black community or those who were in the sports realm, but even people who weren't even into sports. You have people that never probably watched a game of basketball a day in their life, but they knew who Kobe Bryant was. You probably have staunch racists out there that probably hate black people with their guts, but they like Kobe Bryant. Yeah, I heard they actually have a statue of Kobe Bryant over in China. It's crazy. They have a statue of Kobe Bryant in China, a place that he's not even from, before he even gets one here. Now, what does that tell you? But then you have people like her and Evan Racist Wood and all these other palm color feminazis coming out with these lies. If y'all ever wanted to know why I could probably most likely never ever mess with a palm colored woman, look no further than your Abigail Disneys and your Evan Racist Woods. Because you see how dirty they talk about black people, especially black men, after they die. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of our own have been talking, getting out of the, have been getting out of, pocket, but theirs was because of the whole standpoint, because of who he married. And that rubbed me the wrong way as well. And I've already addressed that. This one, no. Historically, we know or should know how this beast is. Stuff like this and her wild lies and accusations historically have gotten a lot of innocent black men hemmed up. Look no further than your Emmett Tills. Carolyn Bryant, I'm almost certain, was probably a liberal white woman. I'm almost certain of it. Most of them are. Gloria Steinem, she probably was one too. And I use that in quotations. I'm sorry to go off on a little tangent right quick, but let me get back into this article. Disney and Wood are not the first people to be criticized for their responses in the days since the helicopter crash. A Washington Post reporter and a CNN reporter have both been criticized for bringing up the Daily Beast article and reminding the public that Bryant faced a rape charge. Now, notice that a rape charge that he wasn't convicted of because there was nothing there but lies from that woman. But because it was just a charge, they continue to run with it as if the charge actually stuck. Kobe Bryant said if he is guilty of anything, it is for cheating on his wife, in which his wife ended up forgiving him. Mind you, this was back in 2003, was 17 years ago. But look at how far they had to reach back to pull this out of the archives when that thing was pretty much laid to rest. But they revived it before he gets laid to rest. Somebody make it make sense. This is Bryant was arrested and charged with sexual assault and false imprisonment at the time, but the criminal case was ultimately dropped when the accuser refused to testify and agreed to hear Bryant issue a formal apology in court in which he had his lawyer read. At the time, the NBA star admitted to cheating on his wife, but said the encounter was consensual. Bryant and the accuser went to court in a civil case over the matter, which was settled in 2005 for an undisclosed amount. But what they're leaving out is the fact that this woman had multiple men's semen in her panties. That is a dirty skank right there for you. It was one thing when Monica Lewinsky kept that dress because she didn't go and put it back on and wear it. This woman had the panties on, which means after the so-called alleged rape, first off, before she even encountered Kobe Bryant, she was already having sex with other men. And then she had sex with other men after her sexual encounter with Kobe Bryant. That doesn't sound like a woman who has been raped to me. That just sounds like a thought. Of course, back then, the word thought wasn't even a word. She just sounded like a whore and a skank, a hoe, however you want to put it. That woman couldn't wait to lay on her back and spread her legs to 915 formation. Claims that she got raped, but turns out she had multiple men's semen in her panties. And to my knowledge, when they did the testing, it was either inconclusive because the shit was all mixed up and they couldn't determine even one person, or two, Kobe Bryant's semen wasn't there. And then they came out and later admitted that her mother orchestrated it to say that he raped her because he was a big time basketball player in order to get money. Where have we heard this before? Now, this happened in way before Me Too was a thing. Could you imagine if that happened in recent years with Me Too? Kobe Bryant would have been going through it. But it's sad though. It really is. Now, I know this video is about Abigail Disney, but to be honest, it could be about her, Evan Races Wood, and all those other women who've been peddling this line of thinking for the last week. Starting from the day his daughter, and those other people died on that helicopter, and they have been going nonstop like a runaway train. And to be honest, I don't know when it will stop. I don't know when it's going to end. I hope his wife Vanessa can find a way to go at them. I said I wish that she could sue them for defamation of character, but unfortunately, because the party is deceased in who they are defaming, that most likely won't work. But hopefully they can find other means to go at this, because this is absolutely ridiculous. This woman just lost her husband and her daughter in one day in a tragic way. And this woman hasn't even had enough time to grieve, because people are going at. I wouldn't be surprised if she has not been on social media since he died. If she hasn't been, I wouldn't blame her. And then her daughter, her oldest daughter, ended up having to go to the emergency room because she has asthma. And when she found out her sister and her dad died, she was hyperventilating and couldn't breathe properly. The media didn't really expound much on that, but that's what I heard, and I can believe it. When you have asthma and you can't control yourself, you will start hyperventilating, and sometimes that inhaler won't work. But people don't take that into consideration. All they want to come at is at a dead man who just died in a horrific way with his daughter, with something that was dead in the water for over a decade. Almost 2 decades now. But that just shows you the line of thinking when it comes to the whole historical palm-colored, lice-infested bitch. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you have not done so already, please follow me on Twitter and have your notifications turned on. And I will talk to you in the next one.